to 10.
University Medical Center is the latest victim of a ransomware attack and has been diverting patients to other hospitals because of it all day. The hospital is caring for existing patients and its clinic is still open, but the emergency and the non-emergency patients are all being diverted. The IT outage is affecting its entire network. Emergency centers and urgent care clinics are still open. The hospital is just not accepting any new patients right now. UMC released a statement tonight saying in part, out of an abundance of caution, we'll continue to temporarily divert incoming emergency and non-emergency patients to nearby health facilities until this issue is resolved. We're grateful for their collaboration. Patient safety remains our top priority. We're implementing downtime procedures and accommodations wherever possible to minimize any disruption to our patients and our critical services.
Lauren, UMC is not alone in these types of attacks. It's been reported that more than 4,000 cases of hackers have been taking companies hostage between 2022 and 2023, excuse me. And we're here with Michael Strong, Chief Operating Officer of Blue Layer Technologies. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Yes, so, could you tell us, for those viewers that are out there right now, in the simplest terms, what is ransomware? Yeah,
well, first of all, my heart goes out to all the IT professionals working late hours right now going through this. It's a tough spot to be in, but ransomware at its most basic level is when a threat actor or an adversary infiltrates a computer system and ultimately tries to exfiltrate data from the organization and then tries to hold them hostage by either encrypting their systems and locking them out of them, or saying that they might release stolen data on the dark web, thus the ransomware attack.
Why is ransomware so successful when they do attack?
Yeah, well, data is valuable, okay? And because that data has value, so does uptime. So right now you see that there's a diversion plan ongoing, and in the healthcare industry, unfortunately, the valuable data comes in personally identifiable information. So, there's insurance that's involved as well. This whole thing is a business, and that's the part that's really terrible. But you have attorneys, you have insurance, you have IT folks, you have cyber software providers, and everything in between. But the data is ultimately what's valuable, along with the uptime and the service that's being provided. So now that those are being impacted, they're going through trying to triage and figure out, what do we do? How do we mitigate? Run everything by the book, do everything correctly, and that takes time, and that time is required to do things the right way.
Let's just say an employee does accidentally click on one of these, ransom links, right? And then is there any way to stop that attack from happening?
Yeah, I mean, that's why you rely on really high-end professional software, detection systems, good backups, and all of those things. But if you feel like you have done something that may be impactful for the organization, absolutely tell somebody, call IT, let a manager know. It's best to investigate and have something be a false alarm than to not investigate something that ends up being an actual ransomware attack. The problem with these threat actors today is they lie in wait for a long time and then launch their attack. So in most circumstances, this didn't just happen yesterday, maybe in this case, but it may have happened weeks prior, and now they're just launching their attack once they've garnered and gathered enough information.
Now, what should an employee do if they do feel like the link might be connected to, something like that?
Yeah, so part of the problem is so many of these links and tactics by the threat actors look so authentic, so legitimate, that they are very easy to fall for. And that oftentimes employees are afraid, well, hey, I might get fired because I clicked on something. The reality is, the bad guys are so good at this that legitimate things that are actually false and are part of the threat actor playbook, they look so good that they can fool anybody. So raising your hand saying, I think I may have done something, that is critical in this kind of scenario, to let IT and supervisors know, hey, I'm not quite sure, something felt suspicious, something's not right. Let somebody know so that it can be looked into further.
Are hackers just after companies, or do they go for just everyday people like you and I?
Yeah, the thing with the bad guys is they cast a wide net. Okay, and so it's the proverbial shotgun approach. If they get one for every 1,000, it could be a big payday for them. So You've seen this with casinos that have been held hostage and other businesses that have had significant downtime, where at some point, depending on the nature of the attack, paying might be the path of least resistance to get back up and running. The unfortunate side effect of paying is it fuels the industry that is ransomware can be profitable for threat actors. And so in the circumstances that are ongoing right now, there's, not knowing all the details personally, I just know the circumstances they're in. There's likely a business decision being made about what do we do and how do we do and what can we do, all the while making sure that patient data, patient safety, and all those things remain at a super high level. And that's why these things ultimately take time, and then they'll play out.
Absolutely. And then, for my very final question for you is, we've talked about what ransomware is, how it gets, into the system, or how it's able to be successful as an attack. Now tell us, what can we do in order to prevent this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously IT guys around the world and IT women around the world are doing great work by installing updates and cybersecurity software and all the things that go with that. I mean, IT is just one layer after another of protection that you could really build in. But from a user perspective, a consumer of the technology that IT provides you, you really have to realize that you're part of the process. You are a soldier in this war that is the good guys and the bad guys. And so you and I are in it every day. You get a suspicious email and a link, you got to think twice, right? And if you think something looks weird, smells weird, you got to let somebody know, because it could be something, you could have caught something before maybe a system or another IT professional saw it. I don't think I know a single IT person who would say, thank you for bringing that to me, but I don't need that kind of feedback in the future. We want all the data so that we can look at it and try to figure out what is or is not a threat, and that information is super valuable to have, but at the end of the day, you and I are the last line of defense.
Thank you so much for joining us here tonight.
Absolutely, yeah.